all you action figure enthusiasts out there. JC here, and welcome to another edition of TNInews Live. I'm joined by Salome here, and we've got a lot to go over today. So let's just do a quick roll call, and then we'll jump into it. I see we've got John in the house. Good to see you, my friend. We also have another John in the house. So hola to you, my good friend. Mr. Allmine is in the house. Alonzo is in the house. Good to see you. We've got a lot of Johns in the house today. John Brooks from Ireland. So always good to see you, my friend. The M.A.S.K figure collector. Good to see you. Passiano is here as well. Good to see you. Sorry, I got to move Salome. He's standing in front of the screen. Agrillo is here. Good to see you. We've got a TV party. Good to see you, my friend. For the love of God, will somebody please let me in the house? We've got Bat Mike Man has made it. Good to see you. Zim is in the house. JC, good to see you from Arizona. Yo JC, hi, from Arizona, from Cartoons and Cannabis. So yeah, we've got a fair amount of news, so let's just jump into that. So let's go over and let's start off with Marvel. So we got some Marvel Legend news today with final images for the Dragon Man. This was a made-to-pre-order item offered exclusively through Hasbro Pulse last year. They announced this at San Diego Comic-Con last year. And this is supposed to ship out around August time frame. They said summer, but previously when it was up for pre-order on Pulse, they had said it was supposed to ship in around in August. So probably a couple of months before this starts shipping out. But again, we have the final images. So looks good to me. It's going to have the retro packaging to the old Fantastic Four line. Done by in the Toy Biz days. So that's pretty cool. And again, with the detailing and scales and everything, that looks good. The wings are nice. It's got the glasses and a book. Decent articulation. Looks like, for a big character like this. So he has the two different wings. He has the folded wings and he has the open wings. You have multiple pairs of hands. So again, this one, the pre-order window for this one came and went last year. So if you didn't pre-order it then, basically you'd have to go to the secondary market at this point. But for those of us who did back this, not back because it wasn't a Kickstarter, it was a made to pre-order. But those who did pre-order it when the window, then like I say, this should start shipping out in August. And some other Marvel news for you figure arts fans, that Tamashii Nations Gamerverse Cyclops figure has gone up for pre-order. You can get it at places like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. This is said to stand about 5.34 inches tall. I've seen a lot of people saying that he's a little bit on the short side. Also making fun of his butt articulation. So I don't know. I feel like if you already had the previous Jim Lee Cyclops, there's not much need for this one. You do get some alternate blast effects. You get this backdrop piece so you can create that big giant optic blast effect from the game. But like I say, I feel like unless if you have the previous Jim Lee figure at Cyclops, this is one I don't really know how many people really need, but there you go. Fantastic Four movie figures are starting to see release. I think they've been shipping from places like Amazon. Let's jump over to Transformers. We're getting some Takara Tommy images, official images of upcoming products. So with those, we get our full look, official look at Superion from the aerial bots. I just got my Slipstream the other day from Amazon, so I just need 2 more to go before I can complete my own Superion, and I have those on pre-order. Some others that we've seen up for that have gone up for pre-order. These are the Descartes Tommy versions. Alpha Trion. Again, so the Hasbro versions have already been up for pre-order. We talked about this one previously. We had the preview image, this Transformers Macross Bessara Prime, they're calling it. So this is available overseas right now. I think Amazon Japan has it up for pre-order. But it looks like, I'm actually just reading this, but it looks like it's been delayed from July to March 2026. So I guess maybe it didn't go up for pre-order, but we did get official images. I like how you got like a matrix in the guitar. Back portion looks like Rodimus Prime. You get like a Macross Jet. So release date on this is March 2026. So ways to go. I don't know. I know it was supposed to go up on Amazon Japan. I don't think it's gone up yet. And when Hasbro I'm sure Hasbro will offer this in the US, but I don't know when. You got different face sculpts. I mean, I've never really been into Macross that much, but it looks kind of cool. All right, just want to update you on M.A.S.K. So the M.A.S.K stuff went up for pre-order yesterday at Big Bad Toy Store. Right now, they're the only place in the United States that has it available. Other retailers will offer it starting in September, but again, Big Bad Toy Store has the jump on everybody with these. From what I'm told, they've been selling quite well. In fact, these might be close to selling out at Big Bad Toy Store. So, one new piece of information that was announced last minute was that originally the only one that was going to have back metal was the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive version of the mobile defense unit, the truck. But now all the vehicles, I guess fans had been asking for vac metal to be included with all the vehicles. And so the only one that will not have vac metal on it is the Condor, which I guess the original toy did not have vac metal, so they didn't incorporate any vac metal on this version. But all the other vehicles that have gone up for pre-order will end up having vac metal. So that wasn't something that they showed, at Toy Fair. So that'll be, that's an up. It's going to be added. Like I say, before the only one that was going to have vac metal was the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive version of the mobile defense unit, which also has the extra figures. So prices are, as I told you guys, $35. The prices had gone up since Toy Fair due to tariffs. Possibly the vac metal edition played a role in that as well. But the Condor is $35. The Thunderhawk is $60. The helicopter is $90. The regular truck is $125, and the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive version is $175. Now, Big Bad Toy Store is running a bundle, so if you get the Big Bad Toy Store version of the mobile defense unit, and then the other 3 vehicles, then you can get the bundle for $325. So if you bought each of those individually, it would be $360. So you do get additional discount if you're going to get all the vehicles. You probably want to go with the bundle. I believe the Big Bad Toy Store version of the truck will have some limited release at San Diego Comic-Con. Now, overseas retailers have also there have been some overseas retailers I've seen taking pre-orders for these. So, when I say Big Bad Toy Store is the only place offering them right now, I'm only talking about here in the United States. Street Fighter, for you Street Fighter fans. Jada Toys has officially shown off their two San Diego Comic Con exclusives. We had seen some digital renders for these. They had teased some of the accessories, but now we have the official images. So these will be available online on the Jada website on July 24th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, and then also available at San Diego Comic Con. There is a third San Diego Comic Con exclusive that they're going to be offering that they've not yet revealed. So I don't know if that'll be another action figure. I don't know if it'll be a car, a diecast car. I don't, but they will have a third San Diego Comic Con exclusive coming, which I expect the reveal will be made probably tomorrow or Friday. So this is the player two, the Haslab, and I probably get this just for this flame effect. The guy wrapped in flames that you can recreate. So otherwise, I wouldn't have get. I prefer the regular version, but I may get this one just for that effect piece. And then the other one they revealed the other day is the player two M. Bison. And that also has, one of those flaming effect pieces to recreate his move. So, again, one more San Diego Comic Con exclusive coming from Jada Toys. And as soon as it's revealed, we'll have it up on TNI. And I'm sure I'll talk about it in a future video. Super 7 has shown off a few additional of their San Diego Comic Con exclusives. You may recall last week I told you how at Joe Fest they showed off 2 G.I. Joe reaction figures. So now today they've been showing off Godzilla items that they're going to be offering at San Diego. So we've got this, orange translucent -1 Godzilla. They like to do these translucent figures. So, and these will be available online as well. But I don't think they've given us an exact date of when they'll be available online. Some other Godzilla stuff, some vinyl type figures and stuff, translucent figures and things like that. So not going to really go in much detail. Godzilla on a bike. If you want a super cycle, if you ever want a Godzilla riding a bicycle, it's a larger size figure, but that's going to be offered. I think the Godzilla stuff's going to be offered at their pop-up store. They always have a pop-up store at San Diego besides their booth in the actual convention hall. Mezco has a variant Nightwing with the red and black. This is being offered as a Mezco exclusive. It went up today. I think it's still available. Yep, for $120. So multiple heads, hands. Again, this is like based on his new 52 look with the red and black outfit as opposed to blue and black. Batarangs or night, whatever you want to call them. Again, that's being offered as a Mezco store exclusive. New McFarlane pre-orders today, so that 2-pack with the Merciless and the Batman Who Laughs, right now available on Walmart and GameStop. $80 for that one, but and still available on Walmart. I think it's still available on GameStop too. They announced this during the McFarlane Toy Show last month. So that one. Went up. Also, the Page Puncher Superboy with no jacket and the first appearance or Wonder Woman #1. Those went up. Superboy sold out very quickly. I don't know if Wonder Woman looks like Wonder Woman has sold out. So I don't think these went up on Amazon. So yeah, so Superboy sold out in like minutes. But Wonder Woman has also sold out. And I also just wanted to point out Big Bad Toy Store had the case. So, as I've mentioned before, in this case, you have the variant Superboy in the red and black. And then also, that's just a regular platinum. And then as a red platinum, the Steve Trevor figure is in that case. So if you had bought the case from Entertainment Earth, and that also sold out very quickly, like in the first few minutes of it going up for pre-order, the case of these sold out. These will hit physical stores. So, but like the Trevor is not likely, at least here in the United States. I wouldn't be surprised if like EB Games in Canada, they list a lot of these red platinum figures individually. Sometimes Walmart does, but like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth probably is not going to offer the Trevor figure separately. They might eventually. I mean, I figure when Big Bad Toy Store gets cases, however many cases they got, they'll have a few Trevor figures that they might end up putting up at some point. But just know the Steve Trevor figure is part of this wave, but it's a red platinum figure. Also, speaking of red platinum figures, yesterday Walmart, at least in some regions, like I didn't buy them, but I was able to. And actually, it looks like for me at least, it still is. So like that Superman movie Robot #4 is currently available now. For some people, it may not be. You'll just have to check the links if you want to try and get them online. The Mister Terrific as well, and the gold label version of Ultraman, the Battle Damage Ultraman, which is a Walmart exclusive, that is also available online, at least for some. So, like I say, in some regions it might not be; these might not be available, but but if you want to add these to your collection, if you haven't been able to find them at physical stores, and they have been hitting physical stores, but you can check Walmart out. Now, our next round of pre-orders is going to be on July 8th. So we talked about, the Steffi Brown Batgirl and the No Man's Land Batman. There will be a platinum version of this Batman in black. Also, the Disco Nightwing will be going up that day. So these are digital figures. They have the physical figures with the digital codes included. So July 8th, and then also the Monarch figure. So look for those pre-orders next week. And again, online, I would expect these will probably sell out very quickly. Let's see what else we got. If you're into Joy Toy, these are smaller scale figures, 1/18 scale, but we've got looks at new King of Fighter figures. So Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, I think we'll probably carry these at some point, but again, these are 1/18 scale, so these are smaller scale figures, like the kind of like the turtles that they do. You get the backdrops to recreate scenes from the game. So be good. We talked about these briefly on Monday. Tamashii Nations, San Diego Comic Con exclusives. So Demon King Piccolo, Godzilla 2023, Grade 8 Vegeta, and Great Demon King. So I want to say these are like variants of figures that they've released already. I don't collect these myself, and I'm not into Dragon Ball Z, but I definitely remember posting about all these figures before. But again, these will be San Diego Comic Con exclusives, but I do think they will make them available online as well on their Tamashii website. Besides, a lot of Tamashii figure art stuff went up for pre-order yesterday at places like Big Bad Toy Store, including those Harry Potter figures, Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth. Also, the Superman figure. We talked about that previously. So all that stuff is now available for pre-order if you're interested. I think we talked about all that. Some NECA turtle figures have also gone up for pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store. These were previously available elsewhere, but so the fifth turtle is now available. You can get it at Big Bad Toy Store. Entertainment Earth has not yet put these up, but they probably will soon. Also, this 1/4 scale 90s Raphael being offered again with the trench coat and everything. So both of those are currently available for pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store. Jazwares has revealed its San Diego Comic Con exclusives. So we've got a Stranger Things Upside Down collection Demogorgon, a variant of the Demogorgon that they've done before. That's a 6-inch scale figure. Classic Zuko 6.5-inch, a Pokemon Squirtle squad figure, All Elite Wrestling Strickland figure. So again, these will be offered. I think these will be offered. They'll be offered at the booth. I'm not sure. I guess Jazzware actually does not usually sell these online. They're Comic Con exclusive. So I think you have to go to the convention for these. There's also a Star Wars one for their Micro Galaxy Squadron. So a TIE fighter hangar, basically. Darth Vader, his tie, and the two TIE fighters from A New Hope with packaging that looks like a hangar. Got some new Lego sets coming. These will be available on August 1st. So we've got the Juggernaut, the Force Burner Snowspeeder, Separatist MTT, and Jango Fett's Starship. So if you're into Lego, we got some more Star Wars stuff coming up soon. see anything else. I'm going to get to some Valaverse stuff for you here in a second, but I just want to make sure. If you're into the Star Trek 1/6 stuff from EX06, we've got War from the third season of the card series. So that's available at places like Big Bad Toy Store. We had some new Masters of the Universe pre-orders yesterday. So for Origins Cartoon Collection, you can now pre-order Whiplash, Shadow Weaver, and Bo from the She-Ra cartoon. So again, those went up for pre-order yesterday, and also the second wave of Thundercat Masters of the Universe mashup figures, which I think the official name for this line is Third Eternia. So, but we've got Panthro, He-Man, and Tigra. Again, these all went up for pre-order yesterday. I think the first wave, at least, I don't know if the first wave has started to hit stores yet. I got a shipping notice. I got the Battle Cat one from the first wave, and I ordered that on Amazon, and I think I got a shipping notice, or maybe it was Big Bad Toy Store, but I think the Battle Cat was about to ship. So I think first wave is, if it hasn't already, will soon be hitting store shelves and such. The Fright Zone play set went up for pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, Mattel Creations. I think it's sold out on Mattel Creations. Actually, it's sold out on Entertainment Earth as well. Let me see if Big Bad Toy Store still has it in stock. Yeah, so if you still want it, you can still get it at Big Bad Toy Store. If you were thinking about getting this one, it's $92. And actually it looks like it's supposed to ship sometime this month. So you don't have a long wait on this one. So, like I say, I believe Mattel Creations sold out and Entertainment Earth is sold out, but you can still get this one if you want at Big Bad Toy Store. Real quick update on the Haslab. So, has not yet reached its minimum 8,000 goal. It's getting pretty close to 6,000 last time I checked. We are at 5,000. Sorry, this thing's on my... There's this little icon blocking the backers. I can't tell if that's a 5,008 or 5,954, but it's getting pretty close to 6,000, so roughly about 2,000 backers to go. It is worth pointing out that this is the first classified Haslab that did not reach its minimum funding goal in the first 24 hours or less. So being I track these things every year, I have pretty detailed records about how these went. So if you're curious, the Cobra Rattler, or let's go, the first one was the first classified G.I. Joe Haslab was the His-Tank. The first G.I. Joe Haslab was the Sky Striker for 3 3/4 inch. That I think took longer than 24 hours to fund, but specifically in regards to classified Haslabs, they all funded, except for now the Snowcat has taken longer, but the His-Tank sold out or funded, reached its minimum funding goal like under 24 hours. That was probably the most popular one. And that was $299. That launched in June. The campaign that is launched in June, on June 29th of 2022. And it needed a minimum of 8,000 backers. And the cost of that one was $299.99. The following year was the Dragonfly. That launched on June 5th of 2023. That was $274.99. That needed a minimum of 10,000 backers, and in the first 24 hours, it had 10,005 backers. So it had reached, in about the 24-hour mark, it had reached its minimum funding goal. Then last year with the Cobra Rattler, and my Cobra Rattler is actually supposed to arrive today. I'm expecting it anytime now. So, maybe on Friday we'll take a look at that. But that one launched during San Diego Comic-Con last year. So that one launched a little bit later than the others. I remember them debuting it for the first time at Comic-Con. We had to wait until like the second day for them to put it out. And that backed within 24 hours. It had 9,474 backers. It needed a minimum of 9,000 backers, and it was $324.99. So I have no doubt that I feel very confident that the Snowcat will fund, reach at least its minimum funding goal of 8,000 backers. But again, it is just worth noting that at the 24-hour mark yesterday, it was only at 5,307. So again, the first classified Haslab that did not reach its minimum funding goal in the first 24 hours. All right, and then last but not least, I just wanted to share some new for you Action Force Valaverse fans. They had a panel at the DFW GI Joe convention, which they just put online the other day. So I just wanted to share some highlights from that if you haven't watched it. So they basically announced they're starting a new line called Extras. These are 112 figures. They're basically going to be kind of thugs, different skin colors, different outfits, things like that. Honestly, struck me very much as street humans without the alien aspect to it. That's kind of when I saw them debut those. That was my first thought. So those are coming. Action Force Series 6 will see weapons packs, backpack sets, the usual kind of stuff. There's going to be a rocket launcher set, 3 basic troopers, special warfare, Radiator Battalion, and Delta Corps. So I don't collect Action Force, so I'm just kind of reading what they had announced. ToyCon exclusive, which is September 27th to 28th. They're doing an Infantry Commando 2.0 figure, which actually they released just today. Better images of that. So this is, I believe, the first version of this figure was offered as I forget the name of the e-tailer, but they've gone out of business now. But this one will be offered again at the ToyCon New Jersey convention. So, and figures starting with this wave are going to have swappable arms, something they talked about in the convention. Also packaging reminiscent of the Four Horsemen with the removable card backs. So, you can keep them in the packaging if you want. You've got the outer box as well. And I believe that they said there would be a variant with a Steel Brigade head that will be limited to 100 pieces. So that will have a variant figure. They will also be at Legion Cons November 7th through 9th. And they will be offering a Day of the Dead Sidewinder exclusive figure that will have 2 variants with 2 different alternate heads, and each of the variants will be limited to 100 pieces. Lieutenant Hyun, I guess is how you say her name, and Jester will be out at the end of the year or early next year. Jester will have a bloody, and I'll show you some slide images, bloody versions. Jester will have a bloody variant version, which will likely be offered as a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive. They're also doing a new line of figures called the Black. So these they described as modern day pirates with Blackbeard Vane, who will be based on a real life person, Zach McGowan from the Black Sails series. And then Corsairs, Troopers, there's going to be 4 different versions released. So you can kind of army build them, I guess, is like variants. So like you won't know which version you'll get. Valaverse has signed a new partnership with Ubisoft, and they're going to be doing figures based on the Tom Clancy Splinter Cell Blacklist game, starting off with Sam Fisher, and probably do a couple of different versions of Sam Fisher from the game. So that was a new license that they announced. They teased that I guess he's working on an Action Force movie, and he has a new, what he said was a big name director that is signing on for it, but he did not give us any additional details. For vehicles, they're going to offer a Black Shadow Vanguard version with a Black Reaper driver, so a repaint of their Vanguard vehicle, which to this date is the only vehicle that they've released. Last year, they announced the Locust vehicle, which they gave an update on this at this, it was the last year's convention where they announced the Locust, and now they gave an update saying they're putting more details into it. And Raymond Toys, they're working with Raymond Toys. It's going to offer a separate, that you can buy separately, a flight stand for it. And probably the Locust will end up coming out late next year. Also, they announced an attack raft with translucent water base that'll hold 4 figures. And it will float in the water. So that actually, if you're into G.I. Joe, that might be something you might be interested in for G.I. Joe. For 26 and beyond, they're going to be doing an Action Force, not officially named, but they're kind of calling it Fit Force, Eclipse, Gemini, and Kill Switch, basically in outfits as if they were working out in the gym, and will feature gym equipment. So that'll be a 3-pack. They're working with Dorati Studios for a modular armory type set that you can kind of build out. They're going to start doing testing the waters of 3 3/4 inch O-ring Action Force figures. So the first ones they're doing are Pandora, Bone Collector, a Praetorian Guard, and a Steel Brigade. They're thinking about doing these as blind bag offerings, and the packaging will be a grenade that you can open up and it'll feature the figure. So it wasn't clear whether they would do that with all the figures or just some of the figures, like maybe the army builders. But again, O-ring, 3 3/4 inch Action Force is coming. These are, same scale as the original G.I. Joe figures, so smaller scale figures. And then also they're going to be doing a 112 Action Force World War II 1944 line of figures. So kind of like a precursor to the modern day Action Force. We'll see paratroopers, Axis power figures, and Allied power figures. So that's something that they're working on. So that's the raft. Going back, that's the raft. Obviously a prototype, unpainted and all that, but again, if they actually get this out, they didn't give a release date or anything, but I feel like this is something that might be appealing for Joe fans as well. This is one of their modern pirate figures. Unfortunately, these slides didn't go in order, so this is part of their extras line, which is going to see like a figure, 6 hands, accessory, and a stand. These figures will cost $24.99 or less. That's the Infantry Commando 2.0 again. That's the bazooka set, which will come on a blister card. For the extras line, they also talked about the torsos are going to use a soft material with inner articulation. So, the clothes, you won't see the articulated joints on them. That's the bazooka set again. Those are the swappable arms I was telling you that they're going to start incorporating with the new series of Action Force figures. This is a backpacks set, accessory set, 5 different styles of backpack. New weapons pack. 2 new weapons packs they announced. That's the 3-pack, the Fit Force 3-pack as they were teasing it. Also taking inspiration from Jada's Cammy figure with showing off the buttocks. That's the World War II figures. That's one of the O-ring figures. That's the modular armory. More O-ring. This is the raft. That's the blind box packaging that they're talking about possibly doing for the O-ring figures. So again, a grenade that you open up. That's the gym equipment for the 3-pack. Again, the modular armory. O-ring figure. That's the black or shadow Vanguard or black Vanguard. So repaint. Updated look at their Locust. And that's the stand that they're looking to offer separately that's being designed by Raymond Toys. Or Ramen Toys. And this is their Action Force World War II line. So again, the Shadow Vanguard, O-ring. So that's your latest from Valaverse and the Valaverse toy front. And speaking of smaller toy guys, we're also getting a new Four Horsemen reveal tonight at 8 a.m. A new wave of figures from them supposed to reveal in a stream at 8. So when that gets revealed, we'll have that up on TNI. We can talk about that probably on Friday. Sorry, I meant Silverbolt, not Slipstream. All right, let's see what else you guys say. Asiano Yojo July has begun. Cold Slither. I'm amazed we still haven't gotten official images for the Cold Slither box set or pricing details on that one. Salome's going to walk in front of the camera. What's up, El Grillo? Snowcat is funding very slowly. Will it make all the? I don't know if it'll make all the tiers. I mean, I wouldn't say very slowly. Yes, again, it is the first campaign to not reach minimum funding goal in 24 hours. But honestly, that's tremendously fast. I would suspect it will reach the 8,000, by next week at the latest. It's about, it's only got about 2,000 more to go. And it's got a month and a half to go. Now it'll slow. It definitely, I think it will reach this. I think it'll probably take till the end, but I think, I do think it will end up reaching all three stretch goals. I'm going to make that prediction now. Again, I think it'll take probably close to the end of the campaign to get there, with that big jump at the end that we always see with these things. But yeah, I do think it will reach the stretch goals. However, I will say this is one of those campaigns where I don't feel like the stretch goals are going to have a huge impact. I mean, obviously, the more you can get for your money, that's always better. But I don't think there's anything with those stretch goals that's just like, oh my God, if I don't get those, I'm not going to get the Snowcat. So I do think, while I would classify these stretch goals as maybe, I mean, certainly better than patches, but, based on previous Haslabs, not their most exciting stretch goals. Again, I do think, like with the Flint and the Lady J, those head sculpts are probably our best Flint Lady J head sculpts that we're going to have in the line. But, yeah, I do think stretch goals will be met, and I think they'll have it on display at San Diego Comic-Con this month. That'll be one of the things they're showing off at their booth. So I think when people get to see it in person, I mean, I remember when they first, last year, because like I said, last year they debuted that they launched the Haslab during San Diego Comic-Con for G.I. Joe last year. And I remember seeing it in person. You don't quite get like the size of it and everything, just from seeing the images that they put out online and stuff, or even in the live stream, you don't quite get the feel of it like you do when you see it in person. So I think when people see it in person at San Diego, that will also give it a bump. John Man, Dragon Man looks great, but I wish they would have painted both sets of wings. I didn't look that closely. What do you mean both? Oh, you mean the underside? Well, I guess with the folded wings, because they're kind of supposed to be folded in. So I don't know. I get what you're saying, but yeah, it's kind of weird they didn't paint the second thing of wings. I probably I probably will keep, assuming the spreaded wings don't cause them to fall over. I probably will have them in a similar pose like this with the. I'll probably keep these wings on it. I like that they're including the folded wings, but I think it looks better with the wings open like that. But yeah, I agree with you. That's kind of weird. Nerf, thank you for the super sticker. Much appreciated. $5. Wow. Nice. Thank you, man. I think you might be the first person to do a super sticker. I didn't even know that was like an option. Like I occasionally get the super chat donations, but I think you're the very first super sticker I've got. So thank you, man. Mr. Alma, as I said, I'm any minute now. It could be arriving like right now. The FedEx tracking had it like a time between like 2 and 5 in the afternoon. So, in fact, I was like, I almost guarantee it'll come uh, while I'm doing the live stream. I told my wife, yeah, she's got to answer the door if the doorbell rings because they usually make you sign for it. Though I've had them leave them without actually getting the signature before, but I want to make sure that somebody signs for it. But should be coming any moment. Bat Mike says not going to back the Snowcat unless it gets to the second tier, the camping. I call it the camping set. Rodimus Power Toy Collector. Good to see you. Figure Fear. I like figure arts a lot, but Cyclops Lily cannot fit in with anything else I'm collecting. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why they made him shorter than the others. Like I would have thought, why not just re-release the one you already did with a little bit different paint applications and throw in the extra accessories? I mean, I really, that's what I would have kind of expected. I see Jay trying to correct my pronunciation. Maycross, that's how I've always pronounced it. If that's not correct, I honestly don't care because I don't really collect Maycross. The original, Jetfire was the closest thing I ever got to collecting. John says, my wife told me that she bought the San Diego Comic Con Mass Rhino with extra figures. Can't believe it. Nice. I assume she got it from one of the overseas retailers, not Big Bad Toy Store, since you're in Ireland. Though I guess Big Bad Toy Store would ship to Ireland, but that would be more expensive. Elio, what is up? Spaceballs, Jada's not bad, but I still like my old ones. Old ones, as in what? Storm Collectibles, or really old with Soda Toys? I like the Soda Toys ones, and for a while I was like, yeah, I'm just going to stick with those. But Jada has definitely won me over with their Street Fighter figures. Maurice, good to see you in all time zones. I see you guys talking about snagging before selling out, so I'm assuming you're talking about the McFarlane stuff. It's ridiculous. They're charging $28 for Wonder Woman and doesn't come with the lasso. She's synonymous with her lasso. I had to pass. I don't really like that look for. I mean, obviously, I realize it's based on her first appearance, but not a favorite look for me. I'm curious to see what the Wonder Woman, we've seen it from behind, but I'm curious to see what the Wonder Woman is going to look like that they're offering with that Godzilla 2-pack. Figure Fury says maybe Todd will get a lasso out an accessory pack. Nerf, what's up? Finally made it to a live. Nice. Again, thank you for the super sticker, my friend. Eric Stream, got my Rattler and can't wait to get the Dragon Man. Hopefully you're enjoying the Rattler. San Diego Comic-Con is towards the end of this month. I want to say, the 22nd? They're Eric Stream giving us the exact dates, 24th through the 27th. Bassiano, yes, that actually has started to ship from Amazon, and yes, it's sold out currently, at least. I'm sure they'll probably get more in it at some later point, but the Gamerverse Black Suit Amazon exclusive Kingpin is currently sold out on Amazon, at least from Amazon. I think there's a third party still selling it at a higher price. Always kills me when a third party sells an exclusive that belongs to the place they're selling it, where they obviously bought it and then are reselling it at a higher price. That always. Again, you got really slowed down to a. I mean, it's going normally. I mean, the previous Haslabs for GI Joe classified ones went really, really fast. But I also think a big part of it is you're dealing with what I would consider a second tier vehicle. The vehicles we got previously were all the Cobra Rattler, the Hiss Tank, and the Dragonfly. Those are all top tier GI Joe vehicles that everyone thinks about. I think, when you think about GI Joe, whereas the Snowcat, I don't quite put on that same level. So it doesn't, as I said, I was on the fence because I was like, do I really want to delve into Arctic vehicles? So yeah, I'm not surprised at all that the Snowcat is not doing quite the same pace as the last three Haslabs, just because the vehicle itself is not as popular. When it comes down to it, it's not going to appeal to as a wide a range of people. It's kind of like with Marvel Legends. Once you get past a Sentinel and Galactus, then you start getting into more obscure stuff, and it's going to get harder to actually get funded. Again, I do think the Snowcat will fund. I have little doubt that it'll at least reach the minimum goal, and I think a good chance it'll reach all of the stretch goals. But I do think it'll probably take the entire campaign to get through all of the stretch goals. Are there other vehicles they could have done that would have been more popular? Yeah, I would say so. I can't tell you what their reasoning was to jump to an Arctic vehicle, but they did. So I mean, and the Snowcat is probably the coolest Arctic vehicle that they did in the original line, but I just think that it is not as popular a vehicle. Figure Fury, my nostalgic heart really wants the Fright Zone, but I can't bring myself to throw the money at it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can understand that. Now again, I'm not even collecting Origins anymore, but I looked at that and I said, $92 for that. I don't know. It just didn't feel like it was worth it. But again, I never even had the original Fright Zone playset. There's no nostalgia there for me on that one. As far as like playsets for Masters, I personally feel like, compared to like Snake Mountain or Castle Grayskull, it's not as cool a one. I mean, obviously, it's for the Horde, so I get that. I'm assuming, remember last year they had that like basically made from scratch playset that they showed off at San Diego, and then I guess they felt like there wasn't going to be enough support for it, so it seems like they just totally scrapped that. Um, like they at one point they said they were redesigning it, and I mean I guess it's possible they could, if they did redesign it, they'll show it off at San Diego Comic Con this year. But I feel like this Fright Zone is kind of like the alternative that they came up with to replace that one that they had shown off at Comic Con last year. But I mean, it seems to be selling. It sold out on Mattel Creations. It sold out at Entertainment Earth. It'll probably sell out eventually at Big Bad Toy Store. Asiana, I don't know if you're talking about the Rattler, I don't know if I'm gonna do a full-fledged unboxing. But like I'll probably open it as soon as it arrives later today. But I definitely will kind of show it off, in my next stream and share my thoughts about it. I don't really have a setup right now to do like a full review or anything like that. So Marie says it's exactly a take on Street Humans. Vala said that he would, and he did. Well, minus the alien aspect, but yeah, I mean, one of the sellers of the Street Humans, I always felt was, if you just wanted like thugs and stuff for your Marvel Legends and stuff to fight, so gang members, things like that. So, obviously that's the same. I feel like that's kind of the same line of thinking that Bobby's going with. What's up, Darth? Hope you're having a good day. Same to you. Ice Pirates. Hank, what is up? Oceano saying rear end upgrade on females. Hopefully, make them shorter with shorter calves too. Talking about Action Force. William, yes, they are. 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Salome always takes over. Oceano says, if it Snowcat, assume if it doesn't make the tiers, forget it. Mr. Allman. Snowcat slowed down because no patches. Yeah, that probably that would have made all the difference if they'd included some additional patches. Nerd alert: is he still available? If you're talking about Dragon Man, no, it was a made to pre-order window, the first one of that type that they did. Followed by the Sentinel was the second made to pre-order they did. I assume they'll be doing more made to pre-orders. Oh man, um, this year, but so we might see the next one at San Diego. I feel like, and I have no idea what it would be. Some people seem to think we're going to get a new Galactus figure, but I'm not so sure about that. Henry G, just that they released official images for Dragon Man. Like finalized images. We'd previously only seen prototype. So, which is what you're seeing on the screen. These are new updated images that they released just today. Virtual Dave from the UK, what's up? William says, guess it's who you know. I get nothing but crummy service from Pulse. I mean, I can't say I've had bad service from Pulse. Though. I mean, I don't buy much from Hasbro Pulse. Usually just the Haslabs or, an occasional exclusive. I'm still waiting for my snake armor to show up, which obviously I believe got pushed to September. But Rashid, I had seen something about that, but then when it went up for pre-order, it seemed like it was still being listed as being somewhat short, 5.5 inches or something along those lines. So I don't know. I don't really do much in the way of figure art, so I can't say I was planning on getting it either way, but Maurice, I believe you're right on that, which is, not a bad sculpt, but I want to see what like the face looks like. John, do I think that will there be any more GI Joe or Marvel Legend pre-orders before San Diego? Dan from Hasbro just posted "Save Your Bread." Usually that means something expensive coming in. We've got the about the same time as San Diego. We've got the War Machine Omega Red 2-pack going up during the Walmart Collector Con event. So that at some point, I'm guessing this month, so probably before San Diego, we'll see going up on Target, the Mystique Target exclusive. There might be some reissues. Entertainment Earth has what looks like a couple of Hasbro pre-orders for reissues, but I don't know what they are. They could be Marvel, could be Transformers, could be Star Wars. Probably not GI Joe. I don't think there'll be any more GI Joe pre-orders unless they decide to go on and put up, last minute make a decision to put up the police officer that they pulled last month. That's the only, but I don't think there's really any planned GI Joe pre-orders for this month, at least until after Comic Con. But Marvel possibly some store exclusives type stuff, but I don't think there'll be like any mainline pre-orders. Yeah, we got like quite a bit of stuff from Hasbro last month, so I feel like they're kind of taking a break until San Diego. William says, I ended up with a Cobra vehicle. I really need a Joe vehicle. Yeah, Cobra definitely gets more love, I feel like, on the vehicle side. The guy had the Vamp, I had the Ram Cycle, and the Dragonfly. But I have the Hiss Tank, the Stinger Jeep, the ATV, and soon we'll have the Claw and the Snake Armor. It's kind of why I went on and got the Snowcat, is because I felt like I did need like another Joe vehicle. Like, if it was totally up to me, I would have rather they did like a Mauler tank than the Snowcat. And I understand that the Mauler probably wouldn't hold as many figures, which might be why they decided to do the Snowcat. It was even something they mentioned in the live stream, is like you can put a lot of figures on this vehicle. So that might be one of the deciding factors of why they went with the Snowcat. But like, if it was just completely up to me and like we were going to get a tank vehicle for GI Joe, I would have rather had the Mauler. I think I like the Mauler better than the Mobat. So I think if I wouldn't have mind seeing a Mauler done. Though I guess oh, now it's slipping my, what was the name of Cross Country's vehicle? The Havoc. The Havoc might have been a cool vehicle for them to do. But I have to wonder if they would be hesitant to give us a new Cross Country classified figure. Mike just had an interview. Hopefully it was a good interview, whatever it was. Job interview, I don't know. Hopefully it went well. What am I gonna do with my Rattler patch? I'm gonna sew it on my jacket. That's what I'm gonna do. No, I have no idea. They'll go in a drawer. They'll go in a drawer. Bobby pretty much said that he made his civilian line to directly screw Shartimus and show him how to easily do it right. His implication, not mine. Well, if he actually said that, that's a pretty dick move, but and it's not that he's doing the figures. I mean, Street Humans doesn't seem to really be moving forward, but if he actually went on like a YouTube video and said something like that, that's just Dragon Man. All I have to tell you is when it was up for pre-order, August of this year was the ship date. When they released these images today, they just said this summer. So I think August is probably still likely when this will ship. But like, I don't have an exact day, but August is when I would expect these to ship. The Dragon Man, that is. Cobra needs more vehicles. Cobra can't drive or shoot, but still love them. I don't think that really had any bearing. The police officer was a little bit different situation because you literally, the day that was supposed to go up for pre-order, you had on TV, protesters facing off against police officers, whereas some skirmish, you know, overseas with tanks, I don't think would prevent Hasbro from doing tanks. I could be wrong, but I don't think that would have any factor in it. But the police officer thing was a little bit different. And I've heard some people saying like the police officer is never going to get released. I don't believe that. I mean, I don't have any inside information, but I very much expect Hasbro will at some point put the police officer up for pre-order. But literally the day that figure was supposed to go up for pre-order, you had a lot going on, uh, being broadcast on all the news networks and everything about, the police and facing off against protesters in California. So that is why I think they delayed the pre-order, but I do expect at some point they will put that figure up for pre-order. Bastiano, that was even the worst thing. I do my best to stay away from all that drama bullshit. So even when someone tries to talk shit about me, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't really care. If you don't have better things to do than talk shit about me, then that's on you. But like, because that's happened to me before, where somebody's like, hey, this guy's talking about you, and I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, it's just, that's usually what a troll wants, is they want the engagement for, the attention, but I'm not usually one, I try and stay away from that kind of stuff as much as possible. A-Town, I missed the non-live stream news videos. I don't have full 90 minutes to do live streams. I hear you, A-Town. It's just, for me personally, the live streams just work better for my schedule. I mean, you can always fast forward through these if you're watching it as a rerun, but I totally get it. I don't often sit through hour-long videos myself, so I totally get you. It's, for me, it's more, I mean, and I've been completely upfront with this about this. The live streams, I don't have to do editing, so it's easier for me on that aspect. I also just like sitting and talking and interacting with you guys. I don't generally have time to go back and read comments in YouTube videos, so I feel like this is the best way to interact with you guys. I mean, as far as just the news goes, my advice, if that's what you're interested in, go to the websites, get it much quicker, much easier, much faster. This is more just where, we can talk about the news, and then, I can share my thoughts to a certain extent, and I can listen to your guys' feedback directly. I kind of gave up on the YouTube news thing, just because the algorithm's a pain in the ass, and my schedule doesn't allow me to often get videos up at the exact same time, on the exact same days and things like that. So, but again, I totally get you there, because like I say, I don't often sit through videos that are super long like that either. But like I say, either go to the sites for the news, or, like I say, fast forward. Make Mine Marvel. Do I think G.I. Joe Classified are leaning towards snow theme stuff due to the 40th anniversary of the G.I. Joe cartoon movie coming up? Maybe, but I just think, like, we had, they kind of do back and forth. So like next year, we can almost guarantee next year's Haslab will be a Cobra vehicle. So, one of the things that we've seen them do is they go back and forth between G.I. Joe and Cobra every year, and they kind of stick with the same theme. So we've had, we started with the Hiss tank. So I feel like this is their answer on the Joe side for the Hiss tank. And I feel like the Snowcat made more sense to them because it allows you to display more figures on it, as opposed to like a Mobat or a Mauler. The Havoc, you could probably argue, might work in that way, but then again, like I say, I could definitely see them possibly not being too enthusiastic about doing a new Cost Country figure, with the Confederate flag that he has on his belt buckle. I mean, they could just take that off the belt buckle, but then people would complain about that. Or if they didn't do cross country with the Havoc, then people would complain about that. So I just felt like the Snowcat was probably safer. And reality is, we've got a number of Arctic type figures: the Arctic Bat, Snow Job, the Snow Serpents. So, and as you guys have pointed out, you can certainly have a Hiss tank go in the snow, and do like a snow battle if you want. So, but I think probably one of the big factors is they wanted to do a tank-like vehicle for G.I. Joe to kind of counter the Hiss tank, but they wanted it to be something that could display a lot of figures on. So I feel like that's really probably where the big reasons why they went with the Snowcat. I'm hoping that next year we get a water vehicle. Like, I really want a whale, and I know it's gonna be big, and I know it'd be huge, and more probably would be the most expensive Haslab that we've got to date. But I would really love to see them do a whale. And I actually was thinking about, because I was thinking about the cartoon, and one of the big Arctic episodes is when Cobra tries to melt the polar ice caps, And at first I was thinking, that was a Snowcat episode, but it was actually a whale, the hovercraft that they ended up using because the snow had all melted. And so the hovercrafts, of course, could float over the snow. So I was like, see that we need the hovercraft. But like a Cobra hydrofoil, I feel like I wouldn't mind seeing a water moccasin, but I feel like that's a small enough vehicle that they don't need to do it as a Haslab. So, but I would, maybe they do a water moccasin and as a regular release and a Cobra hydrofoil as a Haslab. Though I feel like the Thunder Machine, for Dreadnoks also is got to be in the works coming at some point. But I'm hoping we kind of jump into, like I say, next year we've gotten the tanks, we've gotten the air vehicles. Now it's time for a water-based vehicle. And as far as like Arctic vehicles for Cobra, I know they did some later in the line, but those would not be very popular, nearly as popular, because they're just not as well known. It was much later in the line before we got any kind of Cobra Arctic vehicle. So I don't feel like we're going to get much more in the way of more Arctic vehicles. They could do a polar bear at some point. That, again, kind of like the Ram cycle. They could do that as a regular release. But I feel like, hopefully, like I say, my hope is next year, I feel pretty confident they'll go back to the Cobra side, and hopefully we'll get some type of water vehicle, which to me, because I feel like the water moccasin would be too small to do as a Haslab, a Cobra hydrofoil would be the best bet for a Cobra boat Haslab. Passiano, do I think the Thunder Machine will be $100 like the Stinger? I think the Stinger or the Thunder Machine is a little bigger than the Stinger. So I feel like, I feel like they, especially if they make it bigger, like the Snowcat to me is bigger than like the original Snowcat. Like, because it's like bigger than the HISS tank. So they could possibly get away with doing the Thunder Machine as a Haslab. But I don't know. But I do think, even if it's a regular release, I do think it'll probably be more than $100, at least 150, I would think. Especially if it comes with a figure, which I would assume it would. I would assume it would come with Thrasher. Oh, I forgot about the All Striker. See, I have not yet pulled the trigger on the All Striker. So I don't know if I'm going to get that one or not, but I did not pre-order that one as of yet. Oh, wow. I just realized we're 4:30, so we are at hour and a half mark. So we are going to call it a day. But thank you guys for tuning in today. I probably will be back on Friday, for no other reason than to share my thoughts on the Rattler, which, like I say, hopefully will be arriving any moment. But as always, guys, thank you for tuning in, and stay safe out there as always. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later. And Salome has left the building already, so but we'll catch you guys later. Thanks for watching today's video. Now, if you're new to the channel, please think about hitting that subscribe button. Also hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. For all the latest action figure news, be sure to head over to ToyNewsEye.com, MarvelousNews.com, JediInsider.com, and TFormers.com. And remember, action figures are great,